This is the S-Wave installation for a one-way side-to-side opening. So from the main box set, all you need is the belt, the gearbox, the track joiners, and the track. For the S-Wave, you will need the S-Wave kit, which is purchased separately. So these are the components of the S-Wave kit. So make sure that you're using the S-Wave kit accessories, and from the box set, these are all the pieces that you need only. First step for a one-way side-to-side opening. Also, just to mention, this setup is for a straight track. If you have a 90-degree bend or a 135-degree bend, this is exactly the same setup. So you are in the right video, follow this video. So first, find your track pieces and join them together to create the length that you want. Make sure that they are flush, right next to each other, with minimal force. Do not over tighten, it will warp the track and it's going to cause misalignments. So with very minimal force, tighten the screws. And there should be and it should be perfectly aligned. Next, you want to take the carrier sets for the S-Wave. This is the S-Wave carrier set. Make sure you do not use the ones in the box set. So this is from the S-Wave kit. And we just need one because this is a one-way side-to-side opening. So remove the screw. Okay, and now you should separate the two pieces. Take the piece where it has this kind of connecting part. Okay, so make sure you're taking this piece. So we'll use this later, okay? So make sure you use the one with the small little tail. Next step, we're gonna use the carrier piece with the little tail at the end. This is the piece that we want to use. All you wanna do is get the belt and connect it to a belt clip. Now make sure that the belt clip, whenever you're putting the belt with the belt clip, we do not want this green part to poke out. So make sure you don't have it like that. You want to have it so everything is inside the belt clip. Now normally we will lock it in, but for now, just leave it open. I'll explain later. So using the carrier piece, all you want to do is, this will help you thread the belt through the track easily. So this will help you thread the belt all the way through, coming out on the other side, and then you can remove everything. Now, get a gearbox. It doesn't really matter which one. This is just a cover that you can pop off. You can replace them later or swap them around. So get a gearbox and thread the belt through the gearbox. Just like that. And now this time, get the belt clip. Make sure no green belt is hanging out. So it's right, the belt is right inside the belt clip. This time, lock it into position. So get the locking teeth. This is very, very important. Do not forget the locking teeth. Okay, so lock it in. You should hear a click. Now, this part, again, using a carry piece, thread it all the way through to the other side. And stop. Okay, so thread to the other side and remove it all the way. Now, make sure that the gearbox is tucked right against the track all the way through. Now, align the belt clip right to the edge of the track so that it's completely flush against the edge. Okay, now we're going to count the excess for the belt so that we can complete a full loop. So the excess is 23 teeth. So you need to count 23 teeth of excess. So make sure this is aligned. Double check that this is aligned, otherwise this will be wrong. Make sure that the gearbox is pushed right against the track. Now we're ready to count the excess, 23. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23. So after 23 teeth, so cut after 23 teeth. Okay. Now take the other gearbox. Actually, before you push the belt through the gearbox, we need to put the carrier piece in. We're using this part, okay? So this one where it's got a tail bit, okay, we're not using it. We're using this one. And where the screw is, point towards that side. Where it's, and then this part, go towards the track. Okay, just like that. Okay. Now you can thread the belt all the way through. And we need to add the belt clip. Add the belt clip. No green belt hanging out. Locking teeth. Lock it in. Okay. And then next, we're ready to attach the, if you've done this correctly, you should have the part with the kind of tail end. And this time, we want the tail end again to point towards the gearbox. The part where it connects with the screw goes towards the track, just like this, okay? And then now we can attach the runners. So we've got the S-Wave gliders. And for the first one, this is a catch. You can actually just remove it, just like that. Okay, you can see that it releases the cap. And now with this part, you can also pull this out to release it. So get a set of pliers, pull it out. And to attach the carrier with the gliders, this cap here just slots all the way in to this slot here, just like that. Don't forget to lock it back into place. Okay, you need to use a little bit of force just to pop it right in. Make sure it's fully connected, and now this forms a pretty good catch. Now, place it on the belt clip, and we're ready to slide the carriers and the gliders all the way into the truck. Okay. So if you want to slide each carrier in, slide it all the way in. So sometimes you might need to just pull the green belt to release a little bit more, and then just keep pushing the gliders in. Just to release it, just to give it a bit more space. Okay, and after you feel like that you put enough gliders in, do not cut it yet, okay? Because once you cut it, there's no going back, so there's a quick way to check everything before. Okay, so we can just slide everything along. Okay, so you've got loads of excess. Push it so everything connects together. Push the gearbox all the way in. And it should come together perfectly, just like this. Okay, it should come together very perfectly. Now, this is a good time to check. There are a couple, there will be, if you've installed it correctly, this will be perfect. You'll screw it in and everything's perfect. However, if this is you and if there's a gap, this is all tucked in, this is all tucked in, and somehow there's still a bit of a gap and you're struggling to connect them together, that means that your belt is too short. There's a separate video to show you exactly how to solve that issue now. So watch that video. But for most of you, if you followed it correctly, it will be a perfect loop here. Screw it in. Okay, and it should glide smoothly, just like that. If it is not very smooth and it's very, very stiff right now, that means that your belt is too long. And again, there's a separate video for you to resolve that. But it should be smooth, okay? It should glide smoothly if everything is installed correctly. Okay, and for this setup, you can clearly see that it's going from left all the way to right, which means you want the motor to go here. Instead, here right now, we've got the sub gearbox. Just pop the cover off and place the cover here. And now is where you can finalize how many gliders that you need. Okay, so you can start taking or removing the number of gliders that you need. And you can clearly see the strings. It has to go, when the gliders are completely tight, it has to span the whole of your track. So right now we're just missing kind of one more, and I think that is the perfect amount. Now make sure that this is double check, because once you cut, you can't really go back. So let's see, it goes in, and then it goes perfectly out. And it's looking good. So now you can cut the string off. Okay. Using one of the tensioners, okay, just loosen it just slightly, but not too much. The plate still needs to be within this area where it's not all the way out. Place it sideways. Slide it to the position, and you can lock it in. All this does is to stop the gliders from falling out. Okay, final check. And that's pretty good. Now, the next thing you also want to do is to finalize how many buckles that you need. So this also is quite important, especially if you're going to get the S-wave curtains made. So you want to finalize the total amount of buckles. And what I recommend is to set the track up and then just do a test run. Okay, so put the buckles all the way in. Okay, and it's gonna look something like this. So go all the way, and we've got the buckles and the tape. Now to finish it off, this bit is very, very important. Just make them a little bit tighter so that it fits the gearbox a little bit better. And this goes right to the very, very end. Okay, so yeah, it's a bit too loose, so I can just tighten it a little bit more. Okay, and this part is quite important if you want the best look. You don't really want to go directly straight from the second last buckle to this here, because what you then create is this kind of shape. It's not very, very nice. Instead, you want to stagger it in two. So one would just be left alone, and that kind of placed in this invisible gap here. And then you want to use this one to attach it right to the very, very end. And what this creates, that with the natural bounce, what you'll have, and that's the track completed. Now what you can do is to cut this belt, okay? Cut this belt. And you have the full track completed. Now, because you've already created the full track, you can remove the buckle tape, and if you're getting your curtains made, you can just give that tape directly to your curtain manufacturer, and they will be able to create the S-wave curtains to your exact measurements.